So hello and welcome to Continuous. I'm delighted that you've registered. I just wanted to show you some of the basic functions of the site and how to access your free lecture. So this is our homepage. So go ahead and sign in using the email that you used and the password that you created when you registered. I'll go ahead and use one of mine. And we are now signed in because in the top right corner, you can now see my account. So that lets you know that you are signed in. So let's navigate to the lectures section. You can go ahead and look at everything else in your own leisure. But just for the sake of this, let's go ahead and look at the lectures. So this is the lectures page. Now at the top of the screen is our featured lecture, typically the most recent one that has taken place. This is the title, this is the speaker, and this is the feedback that we've received from that lecture so far. And you can access it by clicking on this little button here. But if you scroll down, this is all of our lectures. So each of these rectangular boxes is a lecture, and you can see the title of the talk, you can see the speaker who delivered the talk, and you can see the date and time that that live lecture took place. Now, everything that has a red tab has already taken place, and you can watch those immediately. So go ahead and access them. Any box with a yellow tab is upcoming. That means that the lecture has not yet taken place, and you'll be able to see the date and time when that is going to be so. Few other little boxes here that you can access, which reveal some other useful bits of information regarding the lectures. We have a lectures calendar, which is a Google Calendar, which will show you all the upcoming dates, and you can add that calendar to your own Google Calendar if you wish to do so. There's a document on how to use Zoom and the basic functions of Zoom. That is the platform that we use for the webinars. There's our entire program and our pricing structure. But let me show you what the lecture pages themselves look like. So they look two different varieties. So first of all, we'll look at an upcoming lecture. Let's click on it, and it brings you to the individual lecture page. So here you can see the title and the name of the speaker. And if you scroll down, you can see a picture and a biography of our speaker. There is a lecture overview or written summary. There is the objectives, and then there are the dates and times of a few different countries. It's at the same time, but you can see different places around the world at what time that is actually going to take place. If you are not in either of those countries, and I suspect most of you won't, there's a little button here that says click here, and that opens up a website where you can type in your own city and the city in the UK that is advertised, and it will compare the difference and tell you what time that the lecture is taking place in your own city. So if I was to go ahead and click enter, so now that you've registered and signed in, you will see enter, which is the case for your very, very first lecture. If you've used your first lecture, then you'll notice that a price appears here. And if you click on it, then it will bring up a payment system where you can pay to access further lectures if you so choose. But for now, click enter, and it will bring you to this holding page. So this is when the lecture will take place. This blue button will link you to the webinar when the time is right, but you'll also receive an email from Zoom with a link within the email, which is another way to access the lecture at the appropriate time. But in the meantime, there's a couple of things you can do. You can access our forum. So every lecture has its own forum where you can post comments and answer other people's questions. It's a way of carrying on the discussion. And here you can also download the PDF of the slides. So if I was to click on that, for example, you will see that the entire slides are available even in advance of the talk, as well as after and during the talk also. So if I go back, and then I'll click to go back to lecture. So that's an upcoming lecture. If I was to scroll down and click on our most recent lecture, and you'll see that the page is pretty much the same, but for a few little differences. We've obviously removed the time of the live lecture because it's no longer important. And you'll also see that the podcast, so every lecture, the audio of the lecture goes out as a podcast. Now, they are available on the lecture pages, but you can also subscribe on iTunes or other major podcasting platforms. Just search by Continuous and you will find that. And you can also listen to it here if you'd like to. But if you now click to enter, instead of the holding page, you now come to the video playing page. So this is our own video platform where you can now click, press play, and get immediate access to the lecture. So let me take you through the main features of the video player itself, if that's okay. So I have a video open here. This is Professor Leanne Aiken, who spoke about psychological recovery after ICU. So it's a fairly standard video player with a number of buttons along the bottom of the player. On the left, you can see our play and pause button. The next to it is rewind 10 seconds if you want to jump back 10 seconds in the video. You can adjust the volume if you choose to. There are a couple of numbers here. The one on the right is the entire length of the video itself, and the numbers on the left is the point at which you are at in the video. Over here we have add note, which I'll come to in a little minute. We have settings, and within settings you can reduce the quality of the video, and if you click on this little timer button, you can actually adjust the speed at which the video plays. Some people, if they've watched the video once and they want just a quick refresh, they can access it at 1.5 or 2 times speed. So the voice is a little bit higher pitched, but you can get through the video a little bit quicker if you just want to refresh. And then the final button is full screen. So if you click full screen, then the video takes up the entire screen. And if you click it again, then you exit and go back. Few little buttons here which are important. You can access the forum again, which is where you can post questions or answer other people's questions, carry on the discussion. You've got your certificate here, and you've got download the PDF slides. So if I look at certificate, this is one way to access it. I'll show you another way in a minute. Then this is auto-populated. So this is the reason that we asked you to register for Continuous and provide us your information. So we can populate it with your name, with your registration number, with the name of the talk, and the date that it took place, and you can download that as a PDF. So if I go back, you can then, if I go down, you can see notes. Now this is an important feature. This is where you can add your notes as you progress through the lecture. So I'll show you that as an example. There's 3 ways that you can create a note. One of them is by clicking on this button. So if I go ahead and do that, then this little box comes down, and I can put a title, so test lecture and test notes. And if I click save, then the video carries on. Now what it has done, I'll pause that for a little second. You can see that now the note has been stored here. And if I click on the number is the point in the lecture at which I made that note. So if I click on that number, it brings me back to that point. In fact, it brings you back 10 seconds before you took the note, because often when you stop to make your note, you've kind of passed the point at which that point was made in the talk. So it brings you back 10 seconds before. If you need to go back further, you can click on the rewind 10 seconds button. Now that stores all of your notes, and then that will be then stored in your account profile, which I'll show you a little bit later. Another way to take notes is this little icon on the video player itself. If I click on that, the same box appears. And also there's a hotkey, so Option N. So if I hit the Option button and then the letter N button on a Mac, or Alt N on a Windows. So if I go ahead and do that, Option N, and the box appears. So there are 3 ways that you can create notes. Okay, so let me just take you through the account profile. So this was another reason we asked you to register and provide details, so that we can create an account profile where your notes and certificates can be stored. So when you are signed in, you will see in the top right of the screen, My Account. Go ahead and click on it. And the first thing you will see is the lectures and courses that you are currently accessing. So the titles are here, and you can see when I hover over it turns purple. You can click on the title and it brings you straight to the lecture. And we have cookies built into the site. What that means is when you close down in the middle of a lecture, it remembers at what point that you left the lecture. So when the next time you log back in, it will bring you straight to that point in the lecture. In the middle here, you can see expiry. So when you access a lecture or course, you get 3 months access to it. So here you'll be reminded when that expires. And over here are the important documents that you will want for that individual lecture. So you can see the key here will explain what they are, but the first one is certificate. So you can access your certificates and download them from here. You can access your notes, and you can access the forum for that particular lecture. Now, if you remember, I made a note in the last one. So if I was to go back to the psychological recovery, this was the one that we made the note. If I click on my notes, it brings up the notes page, so you can see the note that I created. Obviously, if you make a lot more, they all populate here, and you can click to download or print direct from that page. So if I go back, another few things that you can do in here, you've got your account details. So you can change most things, but not your occupation or the country that you come from, but please get in touch if you have a reason to change that information. Order history will just show you the order that you've made, or the courses and lectures that you've accessed, and clicking on the names will also bring you to the lectures themselves. And you can also change your password if you have any reason to do so.